what is going on? She's just deleted her Twitter. She's getting called out because it was exposed, because an interview got
All right, so picture this. The Indiana Fever president, who you'd expect to be, calm and collected, is reportedly in an absolute frenzy, a full-blown panic. And why? Because Caitlin Clark, the phenomenal rookie sensation, has inadvertently put her on blast in front of the entire WNBA. We're talking about a situation where the criticism isn't just mounting. It's getting more intense, hour by hour, leaving countless people absolutely dumbfounded and scratching their heads, wondering what in the world is going on behind the scenes with the Fever's leadership.
I'm not joking when I say this. Something's gone weirdly wrong. Like, we hired a freaking Chronically Online.
But wait a second, let me tell you, what we're witnessing here is so much more profound than just a quick soundbite from a press conference or a viral clip that's been making the rounds on social media. Oh no, my friends. The story swirling around this situation is incredibly intricate, woven with layers of drama and unexpected twists. It's a narrative that runs deep, and guess what? I've got my hands on every single detail, and I'm about to lay it all out for you right now.
I have said before, and I will say it again, Stephanie White, Amber Cox, Kelly Crosscroft, the Indiana Fever president, they were not ready. Now, Christine Brennan in her book confirmed the WNBA and the Indiana Fever did not realize what they were about to get themselves into with drafting Caitlin Clark, because the popularity they weren't prepared for and didn't see.
So let's dive into the heart of the matter. We're seeing Caitlin Clark's fiercely loyal supporters absolutely erupt. And it's all because the Indiana Fever's front office has taken a shockingly bad turn. Can you believe it? Suddenly, the team's very own president is out there, publicly criticizing the rookie sensation who has single-handedly been packing arenas to the rafters and transforming the WNBA into an absolute must-watch spectacle for millions. Yes, it happened. Kelly Kroskov, the president herself, made a comment that was so tone-deaf it sent shockwaves through the entire fanbase. She actually said, "We hope that the Fever would resemble Apple." Now you might think, okay, that sounds like a compliment, right? But here's the kicker, it was an incredibly bizarre flex, because it sounded like she was effectively reducing Clark to nothing more than an iPhone case, instead of recognizing her as the indispensable iPhone itself. Let's not hold back here. Because of Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever is significant. Her electrifying presence is the undeniable force keeping those national cameras rolling, ensuring the league's product flies off the shelves like hotcakes. But instead of celebrating this undeniable importance, it seems the team's top officials were more interested in actively downplaying it. Naturally, this did not sit well with the fans. And I mean, it really didn't sit well. Social media users instantly reacted with a firestorm of negativity, calling out the message for exactly what it was: a direct, undeniable, and utterly uncomplicated display of disdain. And what happened after that? Kroskov pretty much staged a digital disappearance overnight.
Yes, Stephanie White, every single solitary move that you make is going to be scrutinized. Welcome to it.
It's a pretty universal sign that someone is absolutely feeling the heat when they suddenly scrub their social media accounts clean, right in the middle of a massive public scandal. And that, my friends, is exactly the move the Fever's president, Kelly Kroskov, pulled after her now infamous Apple comment about the squad rocketed across the internet. And trust me, it did not go viral in the way she had hoped. The public wasted zero time. As soon as that video, Caitlin Clark's legion of supporters swarmed like an angry hive of bees on a fallen drink, relentlessly criticizing Kroskov for attempting to use a cold commercial metaphor to reduce Caitlin Clark, the undeniable, genuine force behind the WNBA's current explosion into prominence, to nothing more than a generic commodity. And just like that, poof! Kroskov's previous account was simply erased. No statement, no explanation, no effort to even try and clean up the mess. And honestly, no meticulously crafted PR statement could ever have matched the damning impact of that sudden, eerie silence. Fans weren't just a little bit disappointed. They were absolutely enraged. We're talking about dedicated season ticket holders and ardent fans who feel completely duped after faithfully donning their Fever gear through years of absolutely dismal season, only to see the front office of their beloved team deliberately mishandle the very moment they had all been patiently waiting for. And to make matters even worse, this whole debacle unfolded after weeks of deafening silence regarding Clark's brutal treatment on the court. Referees have been letting her get flung around, game after game, acting as if they'd conveniently forgotten to bring their whistles. It's like her own president can't even acknowledge her immense value without needing to attach it to a corporate brand. Please, the supporters who saw right through this charade only had their suspicions confirmed by Kruskov's abrupt flight from social media. This entire situation, initially sparked by the Fever's front office, has now ignited into a serious trust issue, far beyond just some bad publicity. Now, before we get to the absolute firestorm that Sophie Cunningham unleashed next, let me ask you if you honestly think Caitlyn is being unfairly singled out on purpose. Please hit that like button right now. And if you think the referees are just genuinely blind, drop a comment below. Oh, and yes, please make sure you click that subscribe button because trust me, things will only become more crazy from this point on.
If I was a ref, I know I would mess up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing?
In San Francisco tomorrow, you're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Now let's talk about the absolute force of nature that is Sophie Cunningham. She's not just a player. She's practically the self-described bodyguard of Caitlin Clark, the unofficial vice president of the "try that on our court and you'll get dropped" movement. And let me tell you, her recent remarks didn't just ignite the league, they set it ablaze. During the very first episode of her new podcast, provocatively titled "Show Me Something," Sophie went full-on wild. Her uncensored monologue was something straight out of a gritty, no-holds-barred Netflix documentary. I'm talking raw, unadulterated passion. And get this, she wasn't just taking shots at opposing teams or players. Oh no. Sophie was holding everyone accountable, especially those who dared to downplay Caitlin Clark's monumental, game-changing value to the entire league. She didn't just hint at it, she explicitly stated, "You're literally dumb, not once, not twice, but 3 emphatic times." Naturally, that clip exploded across TikTok, YouTube, and X, instantly becoming the catchphrase of the moment. And trust me, Sophie knew exactly the seismic impact she was creating. But here's the thing about Sophie. She doesn't just talk the talk. This is the same Sophie Cunningham who recently delivered a bone-rattling body check to a Connecticut Sun player, sending her practically into a different time zone, all after Clark took an elbow to the face. And the fact that she got ejected didn't bother her in the slightest. Her exact word, "I'm going to defend my teammates," she declared with unshakable conviction. Do it. However, this is where the plot thickens and things get even more complicated. Sophie didn't just stop at calling out bad officiating or rival players. She started aiming her fiery verbal shots directly at her own squad, the Indiana Fever. She made a jaw-dropping claim that a significant portion of the real disdain for Caitlyn is actually festering within the very locker room itself. Some insiders, those truly close to the team, are going so far as to label her podcast a full-blown declaration of war. It's undeniable that fans have been sensing this underlying tension for a while now. The age-old rivalry between established veterans and viral, rookie sensations isn't unique to the WNBA as a whole, but in Indiana right now, it's not just simmering, it's reaching a boiling point. And so, she's definitely not there to play nice. She's here to absolutely blow everything wide open.
It wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul, and it was meant to send a message. It turned into a scuffle, and I don't think anybody wanted that. But the way that the game went and how egregious the referees were and how they were not protecting players, and they especially weren't protecting the #1 player in this league, the biggest draw in this league, which is Caitlin Clark, and they continue to not do that. To me, this was not a dirty play. This was making a statement because the referees didn't do their damn job. This would not have happened at the end of the game if the referees did their job during the first play. If the referees did their job, not just the first play, every single play leading up to that. If the referees had control of the game, that is their only job. The referees' first job, their #1 job, is to protect their players.
Like, I get it to a certain extent, and like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're going to treat them.
But let's be brutally honest here. There's just more to what's happening with Caitlin Clark. I mean, look, I get it to some degree. Every rookie coming into a professional league faces challenges, and there's always an adjustment period. You expect a certain level of physicality. However, with Clark, it's just simply more than that. Let's put it as plainly as possible. Caitlin Clark is being absolutely hounded, relentlessly targeted, and physically assaulted on the court. We're talking about flagrant elbows, brutal body checks, and even gouged eyes. And through all of this, the referees have remained shockingly, deafeningly silent. Now think about this for a second. If anyone, had dared to touch a superstar like Steph Curry or LeBron James in that same manner in the NBA, you can bet your bottom dollar there would have been immediate ejections, swift suspensions, and every major sports outlet would be blasting breaking news alerts. But for Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, the egregious fouls continue, and she gets robbed of calls game after game. Remember the May 24th game between the Fever and the Liberty? Picture this. In the heat of a tight 2-point game, Natasha Cloud absolutely rams Clark in the center of the court. It was a clear shoulder-down collision that you could not miss. And what did the referees do? They just stood there, staring intently, as if nothing out of the ordinary had just happened. Are y'all serious right now? Clark visibly asked, palms up, without even uttering a word, her frustration palpable. Meanwhile, the Liberty bench is cheering, celebrating. As the buzzer rings, Sophie Cunningham, in her typical no-nonsense fashion, didn't hold back, murmuring, feeling like burnt dirt again. And you know what? She is absolutely, unequivocally right. It's becoming increasingly impossible to ignore the harsh, glaring, and frankly noisy double standard that's being applied. This isn't just tough defense. This is targeted disruption. There's even been a quiet acceptance among certain rival players about an implicit purpose behind this physicality. A kind of unwritten code. They say make her put in the effort. But what that really translates to, that's code for break her before she becomes too visible, too powerful. And sadly, my friends, that's exactly what appears to be happening. But here's the thing. Clark is not gonna break. She didn't come into this league to participate in some kind of elevated hazing ritual. She came here to command, to dominate. And when the referees mysteriously fail to sound the alarm, you can bet Sophie Cunningham is out there, hurling shoulders and unleashing fiery statements on the microphone, as if it were her full-time job to protect the league's most valuable asset. This goes far beyond just a few questionable calls or bad choices. This narrative is beginning to gain serious momentum, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm starting to genuinely wonder if there might be a conspiracy brewing beneath the surface. If you're still with me, then you already know this isn't just a simple basketball narrative. It's something much, much bigger. So don't just sit there and watch. Get it the minute. To stay fully updated on every twist and turn, make sure you like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and of course hit that subscribe button. Because mark my words, the next turn of events could truly happen at any moment.
We want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. I mean, we have a real.
So let's pull back the curtain and peek behind the scenes in Indiana, because let me tell you, things are decidedly not going well. What we're witnessing isn't just some manufactured showmanship. This is genuine, real fighting breaking out. On one side, you've got the business suits, the corporate minds meticulously trying to mold the Fever into a sophisticated, polished brand, much like as we heard Apple. But on the other side, you have the players, the passionate fans, and even rival coaches who are all acutely aware of one undeniable, rock-solid fact. For the time being, the brand is Caitlin Clark, period. This is where the tension truly becomes palpable, where things get chill. It all went south for the Fever when President Kelly Kroskoff made that now infamous decision to publicly reduce Clark's immense influence. And who stepped up? Sophie Cunningham, who didn't just quietly disagree. She absolutely lost it with her own managers, unleashing a torrent of frustration. And here's a bombshell for you. This wasn't some impromptu emotional outburst that just happened to spill out during an interview. Oh no, not at all. Insiders close to the situation have claimed unequivocally that Sophie's podcast tirade was pre-arranged. Think about that. A premeditated, calculated assault, launched directly after the president's baffling speech. Sophie didn't just make a few lighthearted jabs at the WNBA. She publicly called out her own front office, and she didn't just call them out. She brought receipts, undeniable proof of their missteps. That, my friends, isn't mere irritation. That is a full-blown rebellion. In all honesty, this entire situation has brutally exposed a severe, crippling identity crisis right at the core of the franchise. Despite having the undisputed centerpiece, the absolute superstar around whom you should build a dynasty, the Fever still seems to be struggling. And even worse, Instead of showering her with the appreciation and support she deserves, they're acting as if she somehow poses a threat. Now the entire group is clearly split down the middle. Some genuinely see Caitlyn as the bright, undeniable future of the game. Others, however, are desperately clinging to the fading authority of the past. And you know what? Those who support Clark are not blind followers. Sophie certainly isn't. And Kroskov's recent actions, including that mysterious erased former account, only underscore. Let's just be truthful about what's happening.
Second, take a look here.
What the WNBA is doing with Caitlin Clark is the equivalent of the NBA doing this to Michael Jordan in 1986. It just doesn't make sense to me. You are biting the hand that feeds you. Mind you, without Caitlin